So something else that came out of my practice last week, this 10 petals meditation. I'm going to show you a picture. This actually emerged in the moment. It was dark in here. There was only candlelight, but I don't know if you can see this very well. You see this image of a flower. There are words on the flower. There are 10 petals here. And 5 petals supporting the bottom layer, 5 petals on top. And it struck me as I was sitting how simple the instructions for meditation can be. You know, often we do a lot of practices around what we might call phenomenology, or you know, using mountain or using images, using techniques, and all of that. And you know, I may go on for 20 minutes talking at you about meditation during a guided practice. And some people like it, some people might think it's too much. And I thought I was kind of sitting with that one night as I was sitting here. And I thought, you know, there are these 10 simple qualities, these well, not commands, but 10 qualities, suggestions, invitations. Actually, that's the best word. Invitations to sort of be mindful of these 10 different qualities. The first 5, which are the bottom petals, provide a support for the upper 5 petals. And I put it to the test, and then I left it, and I came back later, and I dropped in again. And I almost felt as if there was a process unfolding in just naming with one word each of those qualities, just simply naming it without all this language. And in short, the 5 petals on the bottom that provide this kind of structure, this kind of bottom layer. The first one is neutrality. And so it may be, oh yeah, well, we talk about that often, you know, different words. Sometimes we call it equanimity. Sometimes it's, you know, non-judgment, whatever. Lack of preference. But neutrality here is really a quality of awareness. It's a quality where we can actually make a choice to be neutral. Especially once we've started with some breathing, we've started with some kind of grounding and feeling the body. And in fact, each of these 10 qualities, we first practice by embodying them. So I guided myself through this several times and had 3 stages here. I embody neutrality. And then I cycled through the others. I left some space. And then the second pass, I am neutral. Same thing. And then on the third pass, just naming it with one word, neutrality. So it's not about I, it's not about the body or me, but it's just about becoming a quality, just on its own right. And the second one, receptivity. So once we're kind of established in neutrality, we're able then to be conscious, if we're able to kind of remember or to be aware of the need to be receptive in that moment while we're being neutral. I embody receptivity. I am receptive. Receptivity. Or receptive. And then the third, stillness. Out of neutrality, receptivity arises a much more easy sense of stillness. And out of stillness, the fourth, being present. Deeply present. And so on those foundations, those first 4, we can also experience ourselves to be effortless, the 5th petal. Neutrality, receptivity, stillness, present moment, effortless. We find with that foundation and just kind of repeating those 5 invitations that almost like a mantra, those can get more easily instituted or imprinted in our practice. And yes, the mind, shoof, it just wanders off, goes into however many directions. The ego starts to squirm. It's like, should we be doing this? I'm not so sure I like this. Right? Feeling a little threatened by it. It's okay. The ego can be part of it too. That's the trick. Yeah, ego, you can be effortless too, and it feels good. No problem. And if you're present, ego, then you'll be more aware of what's going on, and you want to be more aware. You want to be in tune. Yes, I do. Okay, good. At least that's what my ego sounds like. So those 5 petals kind of as a foundation, and then we come to the sort of top circle of the 5. And once those first 5 petals are there, this quality of luminosity becomes more sort of more readily available. It surfaces more easily. Like we may just sit down and go, okay, I'm going to meditate on being illuminated or luminous. Good luck. You may do that. It may be possible just to feel that quality just boom out of nowhere. You don't even have to be meditating. You could be walking outside and notice this beautiful sunlight and simply be a reflection of that sunlight. Your awareness reflects sunlight. That's another way to practice this too. So luminosity, however, on this sort of very sort of intentional stages of invitations, out of luminosity, the next quality, spaciousness. Just feeling yourself in that luminosity, the mind becoming much more open, freer, almost boundless. And out of that, clarity becomes so much easier to access. A sense of clarity. Because the spaciousness is empty. And the luminosity is bright. So it's almost a formula. Emptiness plus luminosity equals clarity. Pristine clarity. Actually, clarity is both of those qualities together. But we're using kind of conceptual ways to kind of move through these stages to access maybe a more subtle form of clarity. And then number 9, it's not a revolution. Well, it is a revolution. I knew Jim would get that. Loving, being loving. The heart gets into the act. After all, the heart itself embodies all these qualities too. At this point, we realize that, oh, the heart is part of this. Being loving, unconditionally, compassionate, kind, gentle, caring. We might even feel that here in the center of the forehead, in what we call the 6th chakra. That kind of love is wisdom when we experience it here. As opposed to just always having love in the heart. It's not always here. Actually, it's throughout our entire body, our entire subtle physiology. Actually, all of us is love. So, very natural. That quality of love is very natural. It's not hard to get there. Especially when everything else is attenuated, calms down a bit. So, the 10th, this is the good one. As if those weren't good enough. Awake. Really feeling awake. Really feeling lucid and present. Bright, vivid mind. Actually, as Jane was sort of logging on before, she goes, oh, I asked her how she was doing. She said, oh, I'm tired. I want to wake up. Well, this is a good way of waking up. Hopefully we wake up more than the body here, if we're lucky. So these 10 petals, and this is how it appeared to me, just in the form of like a flower, probably because I had lotus on the brain during retreat. Um, and so cycling through three phases of this. The first, embodying qualities. I embody receptivity, I embody stillness, I embody really feeling it in your body, not just out here someplace. And then feeling it as a quality of who you are. I am receptive, I am still, I am effortless. And then finally, on the third pass, receptive, still, spacious, luminous. And we may shift back out, but this sort of series of invitations really gives us a bit of a map, a bit of a mapping. So when you sit sometimes on your own, it may feel like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. Okay, focus on my breath, yes. Focus on my body, present moment, senses, yes. Maybe I have a mantra, breathing in I calm, breathing out I smile, yes. And then what? I guess I'll start over because my mind wandered. Yes. Oh, how about kindness or compassion? Yes, I'll go there. Okay, good idea. I'll sit and meditate on love and compassion. Okay, how do I do that? I'm not feeling it right now. So, does that sound familiar? Does that sound like some of the way that kind of this goes? And so, I sort of invite us to explore this. As I said, isn't necessarily a technique, and maybe someone's written a book with just these points, but for me, these qualities were really the heart um, of the qualities that arise when we're meditating, that take us uh, from being neutral, from being conscious of or mindful of being neutral of the five ground level petals, to a state of really being lucid and awake, because that is the point. That is the point. Even if we don't know what that means, it's okay. That is the point. But it's helpful to have kind of a mapping, almost a ladder to get there. And if we slip back down the ladder, well, we know kind of where to go to climb up. We can use this to go up, down, or use it as a spiral if you like.